Self-aware leader, guys. We're here. We're alive. We're doing it. Trying to be the best we could be for our families, for those that we love, and for those that we serve. I want to talk to you today a little bit about the victim mentality and our victim trap. What does that look like? My own victim trap. And I'm going to be honest, because I feel like the only way that we can understand and know self-awareness is that we're honest with ourselves. And you would be shocked as you play this game, this self-awareness game, more and more with yourself. You're going to be shocked at how much the ego lies to you, how dishonest you are. I'll have conversations with leaders, whether I'm coaching them, and if any of you want to be coached, please let me know. I can send you that information. We're fixing to put that all out on the website, selfawarepodcast.com. We're putting that all out there. We'll be having coaching programs and stuff like that for you. If that's something you're interested in, let me know. Be more than happy to go over that and pricing. But I was coaching somebody the other day, and they just were not being honest with me. I was like over and over and over again asking self-aware questions, and they weren't getting it. And then finally they caught on. They were like, oh, yeah. This is way worse than I think it is. I'm putting like the shiny glass, this pretty prism of a glass on this, and I'm just choosing to look at the reflection and not really see what's going on inside. When I peel back that glass, it's pretty ugly down there. And I need to fix this before I move on to that next level, that scaling of what we call leadership. And I want you to understand this. Everybody kind of looks at leadership as like, oh, I took a class, I took a course, They don't understand that leadership every single day you're practicing this. And you have to be self-aware enough to where you understand that yes, I'm a leader, so here's what I need to do. I need to love my people. What does love look like? Well, I've never been loved. My dad left me. My mom left me. This, that. I've had some pretty bad relationships. Well, you got to figure out what love is before you can lead. We need to understand, what does healthy love look like? You see what I'm saying? There's a lot of things in our life that causes us to fail, right? Project stalls, team members leave, the big initiative push that we had fails. The latest program is crashing and burning. It's so easy in this victim mentality that we have as leaders to fall into a spiral of frustration, to fall into blaming ourselves, blaming others, and to actually try to lead, because you're not really leading, but to try to lead or do, being a doer, not just being, but just a doer, an ego doer all the time. And we lead, or we think we do, with the sinking feeling of helplessness. And that feeling is the victim mentality. Whenever you feel depressed or helpless, or you're having self-pity, that's what I get all the time. That's what I have to work on, is me. It's all about me, and feel sorry for me, and I can't believe that they said that to me, and blah, blah, blah. Because a lot of us are pretty narcissistic. We think about ourselves constantly. We run filters in our head, the ego does, about how we're judging this person or that person, this team member, or if you're middle management, what my boss said and how he said it and what was his voice. We do that constantly, and that you can't do that, because that all that does is just make it all about you. And as comfortable as it seems in the moment, in this victim mentality, it's incredibly destructive. It's incredibly destructive to you as a person, as a human, and also to your leadership. So let's look at the trap. I like to study the trap mechanism. Let's figure out this trap. How do we give up our power, our true higher self power? How do we give it up? How do we fall into this playing the victim? Well, number one, we have to surrender. We convince ourselves that our fate is out of our hands, that it's just bad luck. It's an unfair boss. I'm going to talk about that, a personal experience here in a little bit. I mean, you can name it whatever you want. The victim mentality likes to put labels on all kinds of things. Look at our society, what's going on right now. Whether you're Republican or Democrat, doesn't matter. They play on your victim Both sides play on your victim. If this was fixed, then this would work good. If I come in, I can fix this. How about we together? We all get together and we fix this. Here's the game plan for all of us to unite and be powerful. But that's what they don't. They want you to be a victim so they can have all the power, correct? If you catch yourself saying, I can't believe it, this always happens to me. Or why even bother? It's pointless. That is way easier to take the victim mentality than it is to take a hard look in the mirror. But if you want to put yourself at the mercy of every setback and every perceived negative thing that's out there, good luck. This is going to be a crazy roller coaster ride. And I know all of us want to feel in control as a leader. But the victim mentality is the illusion of control. Because it's somehow safer to wallow like a pig wallows in the mud than to confront the hard choices that are sitting right there or that are ahead. Yet the very act of choosing this mindset robs us of the true power we hold to shape our path. I want to get real for a minute. I'm going to share something. Earlier in my career, I had a boss who micromanaged everything, constantly undermining my confidence at every turn. And it was a perfect breeding ground for me playing the victim. I had the mean stepmother. She was always quick to criticize, be negative, never gave me any. I just thought this is what you do. Like, I didn't realize how I had a horrible boss. Remember those funny shows? TVs. I mean, they're on the TV now, but they were movies. Those are great. And so I would just blame her for everything. I would blame her for my progress. I would blame her for feeling stifled. I would blame her for it was easy for me just to blame her on all kinds of things. And it was unfair. The way she was treating me was hugely unfair. Yes. But that job and that position I was in was also a dead end. And I couldn't see that. If I was self-aware enough, I would have quit and not wasted those couple years being in that position with that horrible boss. And the day I decided enough was enough, it wasn't about her changing. It was about me making the decision to change. And that's just one of my victim traps that I pulled myself out of. And I constantly have to do this. I was like, that's why I love affirmations, guys. It's like, Jason, you're playing self-pity here. And for me, I'm spiritual, so I want to put, for me, I'll put, no, we're not going to put judgment here. We're going to put God's love in this. In this moment, we're going to love. What does that look like? How can I love and not judge right now? So let's get into steps to break the cycle. How are we going to break this victim mentality? True leadership, the kind that changes teams, changes organizations, and that will change ourselves. As you work on being a leader, it makes you a new person. And it demands that we have to break free from this trap. So I'm going to share a few things that work for me, and I believe countless other leaders that I've coached and talked to. Number one, awareness is the antidote. You have to build that muscle. It's a muscle, just like you go to the gym, a mental muscle of awareness. You have to be quick to catch yourself playing the victim. And what are those inner monologues that's running in your head? Are they excuses? Like for me, I would run negative things in my head like, they don't know all the work I put into this. Who cares? They don't care. They just wanted to get the project done, right? Why do I need to be patted on the back and said, oh my goodness? Why do I need to tell them? And I've had employees do this too. And, we as leaders can tend to do this too. Playing the victim mentality, we want to share every bad thing that happened in the project. When actually the CEO, all he wants or your boss wants is to get the project done. He's got 100 other things to think about. He wants you to be reliable and be like, no problem, I'll get it done. Here, it's done. Here you go. Nothing else. Don't need any drama. Don't need any extra stories. How did it go? Went great, boss. What's the next project you got for me? That's all you got to do. That's how I work now. It's like, nope, we're going to get this done. Here's we go. I don't need to give my story. That's just self-pity. So you have to make sure in awareness you catch it, catch these excuses, catch the negative monologues. And whether you journal, that can be powerful. Whether you do affirmations like I do, that can be powerful. But get brutally honest about the stories you're telling yourself, because you're going to find out these stories are patterns that no matter what boss you have, no matter who you work for, they're all the same stories. Same in your relationship too. This isn't about self-judgment. It's about seeing the pattern. Just awareness enough to catch the pattern. Once you catch the pattern, then it's easy to pull yourself out because it takes all the power away from it. You're like, this is just a pattern. This self-pity pattern I have. When times get tough or I got a deadline or something to work, I instantly go into self-pity. So this is self-pity pattern. We're not going to have this right now. We're going to put love to that, and we're going to move on, and we're going to do what needs to get done. No, I don't need that. I don't need that self-pity emotion right now. It doesn't serve me. It's gone. You see how that works? Number 2, reframe to empower. Those negative thoughts, don't try to silence them. Retrain them. You may say, I can't present to this group. I'm going to be too nervous. Becomes, I need, and Alex Ramsey talks about this, I need more prep to feel confident with this crowd. That's just saying, if you're feeling nervous, it's because you haven't prepared enough. Go do it another 100 times. Go practice another 100 times. Really, Jason? Yes. I guarantee you, if you do another 100 times and you've done it 200 times, you're going to be confident and the words are going to come out of your mouth. A lot of things that we do when we're nervous is because we haven't prepared enough. And Alex Ramsey talks about that, and it's great. Instead of why me, ask, what might the experience teach me to become a more resilient leader? Okay, I failed here. What do I need to learn from this? Don't say why me. Why you? Because the universe wanted to give you, or God wanted to give you a lesson right then and there, and it's something for you to learn. Not to play self-pity, but to learn. Next, number 3, you do have a choice. We can't control everything, but response is always ours, isn't it? Taking responsibility doesn't mean being at fault. It means owning the fact that you can chart the course ahead, even if that course correcting from a mess that somebody else made, or maybe you made. You have the responsibility to respond correctly, and you can fix it. Believe in yourself. Number 4, your tribe matters. Mentors, a peer group, even a therapist. We were not meant to tackle this alone. Find people who get real about leadership struggles. Find people who are other self-aware leaders. Join our community. Get into our coaching. Genuinely believe in you. These people believe in you because we all are looking to our higher self. And we know our higher self is that perfect, wise being that we all have inside of ourselves. Number 5, spirituality as a strength. If it's your thing. I mean, some of you are Christians, some of you are like Catholic, which is kind of Christian. You know, there's so many different variations. Some of you are Lutheran, some of you are, believe in Islam, some of you are Buddhist. Spirituality is a strength, if it's your thing. For me, meditation, affirmations help quiet the self-critical voice. Others find strength in a sense of larger purpose. Maybe it's volunteering, maybe it's going to church. If spirituality plays a role in your life, let it be an anchor. You need to let it be an anchor. If you truly believe in something and it's positive, go all in on that. Don't skip a Sunday. If church is your thing and you really become spiritual with the music and the message, as long as it's a good place and it's not building your ego, then go there. Make sure that I'm going to do this. I'm going to make a commitment for my spirituality. Because when the times get tough, when shit hits the fan, you need to be anchored in something. Number 6, resilience, the muscle we build. Every time you fall flat, get back up. Dust yourself off. You're growing this muscle. Resilience, just like awareness, is a muscle. Falling is the only way I seem to figure out how to learn. So embracing that is how we become unstoppable. I'm not going to put emotion to this. I'm going to learn the lesson. I'm going to move on. It's amazing when you don't let your ego emotions get involved. I'm not talking about being emotionless, because you're going to love your people. You may have tears with them if you're coaching them. Those are great, but I'm not going to let any negative emotion creep in. It doesn't serve me. It doesn't help me be a better leader. And I don't mean to be mean, but I literally sometimes tell my emotions to fuck off. The negative ones, the bad ones. This isn't easy, but I'm telling you it's essential. This world is built on a victim mentality. And if you're a leader, a self-aware leader that can handle this and don't have a victim mentality, the sky's the limit for you. There will be days the victim mentality whispers sweet nothings of surrender to your ear. It wants you. The ego wants nothing more than for you to surrender to your old patterns. And it's going to get worse in the beginning. It's going to put up a little fight, but it's not very strong. Your ego is not that strong. It's not as strong as you think. That's when these steps become a lifeline. True power as a leader is not the absence of challenges, but our ability to meet them, to learn from them, and to rise stronger on the other side. The world needs more of that kind of leadership. Don't you all think that? Is this the type of leader we need? Each of us need. If leaders in this world, I'm talking political leaders, leaders of banks, CEOs of large businesses, if they were this way, how big would our world be? Not-for-profit organizations, great leaders that weren't victims, that took responsibility. What would that look like? What would this world look like? And I want you guys to be honest, and you can let me know in the comments, what's been your biggest victim mentality trap? I shared a couple with me, and I work on it all the time. I had one earlier, a few hours ago. I had a little quick one, but I caught it. My awareness was like, don't need to fall into this trap. Somebody was like complaining about something, going on and on, complaining about something that had happened, bad had happened. I was like, no, this is just the game we played. This is how we move on. This is what we do. It's out of my control in what this other company wants. So I can't control that. So we can play the game, get what they want, and in the end succeed. And all we had to do, we didn't have to make any compromises. We just had to follow a couple extra steps. But all the emotion that was attached was like, oh my God, we're all going to die. No, a few extra steps. It literally may take 20, 40 minutes. So when you reduce it down to the logic of that, it's like, why was our ego using that as an excuse to have a victim trap? That's all it was. Well, thank you guys. Appreciate it. Love every single one of you. The channel keeps growing. My Substack is growing. If you haven't subscribed to Substack, I encourage you to do that. And then also go to selfawarepodcast.com. I'll put the link. We're building out that website more and more and more and growing. And if you guys have any questions, you can DM me on Substack or you can DM me on Instagram. Would love to hear from you guys. Thank you.